Hey guys, and Vine. I lost my voice from last night. I was at the dance, and so this will be misconceptions on anxiety, or types of anxiety. I'll label it under both. This will not be under self-help. That will be a different video. So anyway, I got my Google page. You already know this. If I'm doing a misconceptions video, I'm gonna have my Google open. That sounds wrong, actually, now that I think about it. I'm such a pervert. But yeah, I'm so popular. Holy shit, I am. Alright, you know how I find the most, like, they'll have the 5 most common. I'll search until I find, like, all of them, like, a higher number, like, with yesterday, there was 5 top misconceptions. I was like, and then there was 20, and I was like, done. So, this is 10 things people get wrong about anxiety. Again, my computer is sucky, so alright, number 1. People with anxiety are feeble. Okay, we're not, we just have, it's like a phobia. You wouldn't call someone with a phobia feeble. You would, you know, oh, that makes sense. It's the exact same thing, because little do people know that, you know, this branches off from... I actually have this in some notes somewhere. I'll go see if I can find them. Alright, I do not have the notes. I threw them away. Anyway. Oh yes. See, anxiety can come from many things. It can come from a traumatic experience. Ugh, can't talk today. It's 10 a.m. in the morning. Don't touch me. Shush. And, you know, there's different stems of anxiety. You can have generalized phobias, then you have PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, you have a whole bunch. You know, panic attacks. You know, it's all in there. It's all in there. So we're not feeble. We just have a fear of a certain thing. It's like a phobia, but to a higher level. And that's actually one of my phobias, is showing people what I look like without makeup. That's actually one of my phobias, like going out in public without covering my face in makeup. That's one of my phobias. So, I'm a weird person. Coffee. Having anxiety isn't a big deal. Well, then I guess you're saying that anxiety is no big deal, even though it led to my depression. And formerly, it went to my substance abuse problems. I don't do any of that stuff anymore, but it used to. So, oh, it's not a big deal. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. You believe what you want. I don't know. The condition is not that common. Okay, think about it this way. If a phobia is a branch from anxiety, that means almost everyone has anxiety of sort. Some of us just have a higher severity. So maybe before you say it's not that common, you should do your research. Right here. Anxiety disorders are also one of the most prevalent pediatric psych conditions. This is another one of the misconceptions. Issues with anxiety stem from a poor childhood. No, they don't. Alright, this is what one of the psychologists said. It's not that having a difficult childhood is completely unrelated, but having a difficult child can be related to all kinds of things, not just anxiety. He says, some people have a great childhood and still have anxiety. That's true. It's like some people have a great childhood and a great life. I'm not saying quote unquote great, but, you know, not many troubles, per se. And they still have anxiety or depression. It just happens, you know. It's a medical condition. Well, medical is the same thing, but it just happens, you know. It's like, I can't help it that I have all this, that I have all these mental issues, which include, I'm so flighty right now, like, I'm trying to think of what I have. Oh god. Alright. I have anxiety, depression, autism, a higher IQ than most, yeah, I'm pretty fucked up. ADHD, ADD, so it just doesn't matter, like, what your childhood is like. You could still have all these. People from anxiety should just avoid whatever is causing their fear. It's like depression and anxiety attack can happen wherever. Like, I have a fear of public speaking, which is glossophobia. And even thinking about it will get me, you know, shaky. I'll start sweating, you know. I'll cover my face, you know, just avoiding it is particularly hard, you know. What if you have fear of people? You have to work sometime. You just can't sit at a desk and work. You have to work sometime, and you can't just avoid it, you know. Right. You'll have to consider the wordplay in this a bit to understand this, but avoiding what you're fearful of makes it like it isn't happening. And the more you avoid it, the worse it gets. For people with phobias, the only experience they have with that particular stressor is a horrible one, but it's possible to normalize it. The more you deal with things that stress you out, the more mastery you have over them. The disorder will resolve on its own. You know, So you're saying that leaving anxiety untreated in children and teens is healthy? Even though they have an increased risk of depression and substance abuse later on. Okay. Whatever. Okay. You're the smart one. Unwinding with a drink can soothe an anxious person. According to Keith Humphreys, a professor of psychiatry at the Stanford University, it may end up only making the condition worse. In short term, yes, perhaps it will, but the long term it can be a gateway for addiction. It's dangerous in the long term because substance can be reinforcing the anxiety. I mean, yeah. I mean, I know this from personal experience. I used to do substance abuse, and it wasn't drugs, it was more of alcohol, really. I was 11 years old. Oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah. I stopped on my own. I went through many months of withdrawal, but I stopped on my own. So I get bragging rights for that one. But I know from experience that didn't make it worse. It gave me one more thing to worry about. You know? So anxiety is only born from a certain fear or trauma. I barely had any fears when I was a kid. Nothing could scare me. Like thunder, whatever. Snakes, whatever. You know, nothing could, like, I was always sitting like this. That's why this is my normal facade right here. There's a genetic There's also a genetic basis to anxiety disorders. There's nothing you can say to help an anxious person relax. No, like, I've been anxious. I got anxiety last night. And three of my friends came in to, I was hiding in one of the bathrooms by one of the sinks, and they just came in and started talking to me, And that eased me down. That calmed my anxiety. I was still a bit shaky, but it calmed me down. I was looking at the dog. It was like, and I was like, I was just like weird faces on my friends. Like last night, he and I were sitting together. He was looking to say something like this. So I poking his leg until the other time like this. Just like weird faces at people. It's fun. Here you go. You should avoid certain phrases. The paradox is, an empathetic phrase helps calm them down because they don't feel like they have to fight for their anxiety. Show some understanding. Yeah, use a bit of empathy, like, don't be harsh about it, because that just make them, more anxious. It's hard to relate to someone who has a condition. You just need a bit of empathy. And this refers back to phobia is a branch off of anxiety and it can cause anxiety, so technically we pretty much all have anxiety or fear or something. So it's actually really easy to relate. People just don't know how to because they don't do the research or come up with these misconceptions. Alright, so that was 10 misconceptions on anxiety. Now we're going to the 10 types of anxiety, just because we can. Shush. Oh my god, it's actually working! It's actually working! Oh! Maggie, who's your puppy? Who's your puppy? Wanna go say? No? Okay. Don't leave me. I love you. I love you. I do. I freak this dog out sometimes. Like, I'll just be there like, Blackie, don't leave me. Don't leave. I love you, Blackie. I am such a derp. And I'm proud of it. Blackie. Just let it happen. Alright, here we go. Generalized anxiety disorder. Feels anxious on most days, worrying about lots of different things, period of 6 months or more. Social phobia. Tense fear of being criticized, embarrassed, or humiliated, even in everyday situations, such as speaking publicly, eating in public, being assertive at work, or making small talk. Person feels specific phobias. Person feels very fearful about one specific object or situation, and may go to great lengths to avoid it. For example, having an injection or traveling on a plane. There are many different types of phobias. This is actually a type of anxiety which people don't know. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Person has unwanted / intrusive thoughts and fears that cause anxiety. Although a person may acknowledge these thoughts as silly, they often try to relieve their anxiety by carrying out certain behaviors or rituals. For example, the fear of germs and contamination could lead to constant washing of hands and clothes. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. It happens after a person experiences a traumatic event. Example, war, assault, accident, disaster. Symptoms include difficulty relaxing, upsetting dreams or flashbacks of the event, and variants of anything related to the event. PTSD is diagnosed when a person has symptoms for at least a month. Panic disorder. A person has panic attacks which are intense, overwhelming, and often uncontrollable feelings of anxiety combined with a range of physical symptoms. A person having a panic attack may experience shortness of breath, chest pain, dizziness, and excessive perspiration. Sometimes a person experiences a panic attack thinking they're having a heart attack or are about to die. If a person has recurrent panic attacks or persistently fears of having one for more than a month, the person is said to have a panic disorder. Alright. So there you go. That was misconceptions and types of anxiety, just because we could. Anyway, one of the guys who subscribe to me always likes or comments or shares, and that is awesome. This guy is awesome, I tell you. Thank you for that. You know who you are. Awesome, bro. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, favorite this video. This would help me out. Subscribe. I think I already said that. But share this video if you think it's worthy of sharing, because some of this is actually pretty useful information in my perspective. I have a pretty egotistical perception sometimes, and sometimes not one of these moments, but other times not. My ego doesn't come into my videos. No, it stays out of this. Seriously, I have such an ego sometimes. But anyway, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I will see you all in the next video. Later.